we were all waiting on his presence, but he is finally here. I have to say, Chris Mitchell was in the arena the second that Sam and Dave walked out. So it's I don't think there's mind games. I don't think Tom has that in him, but he was made to sit around for a little while. But it's a really interesting matchup here because Chris Mitchell's absolutely got zero respect for reputation here. He's going to believe that he does believe, I can tell you that he believes he's going to win this tournament, and he's got a very big mountain to climb in Tom Cousins, who has proved time and time again that he is right up there with everybody in the world. Certainly the #1 player in ultimate pool terms right now.
Well, Chris Mitchell, I'll tell you just something that I saw during the Sam Henderson-Dave Matlock match. I believe the score was right at 5-1 or 6-1. Chris was over here on this table to our left, and he was on the table stroking, no ball, just making sure his stroke was smooth. So he knew where he was going next. He knows how good Tom is, and he's doing his due diligence to make sure that he's prepared mentally, physically, all of that stuff. I think we're in for a treat here. Tom looks a little perplexed. Maybe not what he wanted here. Oh no. This is not good for Tom.
You couldn't quite see it on camera, but I can tell you that Tom, who gives very little away when he's out there, was muttering some very choice words to himself.
Well, he's able to make the good hit, but you give it up an open table, and he actually bumped the two balls that would have been a little bit of an issue and opened both of them up to make them available. Chris loses his chalk here. Well, a very quick rack here for Chris Mitchell after that big mistake by Tom Cousins. Just on the 8 ball. And he's going to take a 1-0 lead. Yeah, very, very unfortunate there, the way that happened. If you want to see that full match, make sure you go check it out on our YouTube and Facebook. Wait until this match is over because it's going to be a good one. Chris Mitchell up 1-0 against the man from Wales. What do you see here, Simon?
Problems. See problems.
This is a very interesting layout.
looks like he's looking at the stripes. Just think, how much room is there for the 9? If you can get to the 9, you can open everything up.
And I think really well,
that's not great.
I was going to say that really the biggest problem not only was the 9, but also the 8 ball. He could have remedied that if he got a shot on the 9 ball, but unfortunately that ball is now in the pocket and is going to make things very difficult for the 8 ball to be shot.
I was thinking that if he, could have got onto the 9, he could have used that just to bump the 8 open, but he obviously felt he couldn't get there, and then in the end he's very good at kind of, if he can't figure it out, he's going to scratch it.
Oh, wow.
Under
2
time pressure.
Huge mistakes from Tom Cousins in just 2 racks time.
Yeah, I was just going to say, though, Tom's very good at kind of resetting the rack. If he doesn't like what he sees, he just resets it.
And Chris here under the gun. 1 second on the clock. Plays the loss of turn shot, but it's not a great one. This rack has been full of drama. Oh, wow. And you feel like with the error from Tom, Chris should have really been in a position to win this rack and be done with it by now. And now with not necessarily an error, but I guess maybe just a bad play on the loss of turn shot, Tom had an opportunity and he's ended up in a weird spot. This has been the craziest rack so far. And the time clock still being 30 seconds, we've seen it put the players, both of them, under immense pressure.
Huge shot coming up right now for Tom Cousins.
He's got to get this one right. You overroll it, you risk scratching. Underroll it, don't really have a shot.
Yeah. Fancy him to make this kick shot, though. I'd fancy him to go very close to making it.
Come off the back rail, send it towards the corner.
That's what I was thinking. He's looking at the side rail. I was looking at the long rail, or the short rail, I should say.
The point of contact to make this 8 ball is so very, very close. He's going to play safe. Oh, wow. He didn't play safe.
Almost a little bit of frustration in the way he played that one. Not the start Tom was looking for.
Maybe some desperation as well. While maybe he should have already had it available to him, Chris Mitchell giving himself a chance to win this rack, but that bump on the 8 ball was really bad there. Now the 7 is again in trouble. Just a matter of if he can get to the 7, if he can see it. He may try for the bump here.
Gets it this time. And this should be perfectly set up for 2-0.
While maybe on paper he is the underdog, Chris Mitchell taking a 2-0 lead. Justin Bergman in his, and Cashton Keaton also confirming his spot in the quarterfinals of the Louisville Open. Joe Prince and Eddie Vonderow still playing. Caden Herbach finally won his match and is playing in the last 16. Gage Smith and Stephen McGoy, who we've seen a couple times, still trying to battle it out there at 3-3. It's going to be an interesting quarterfinals.
Tom has to get out here just to get going in the match. This is too good a layout to make an error. If he does, it would really set him on the back foot. Yeah,
you got to believe he's the favorite 110 times out of 100 to get out here.
Yeah. Has he come down a roll too far to make this easy? Yeah, he did. And I think he's okay. It's not ideal. He's off angle, but I think he can at least play the 7.
Not sure if Tom had his coffee this morning. He looks to be struggling, and it could tell a little bit of the story as to why Hayden did have such a close match with him. If he's playing like this,
I agree.
You have to assume that Hayden's absolutely going to stay competitive in that match.
I have to say, I chat with Tom last night after he won, and he was talking about playing in the Open away from the TV table, and he's just struggling when he's not in the TV table arena. And, that may have been did get a couple of good matches though, didn't he? Brilliant win over Shane Thompson. Also Greg Hogue on the TV table in the shootout as well.
Greg, a great player in his own, and such a good character for the game. It would have been nice to see him come along a little more in the Open event.
Good chance this one then for Chris to not need an error from Tom, just have an opportunity to run one out himself. No reason not to get there.
Chris a little unsure about this shot here. Not sure what he was struggling with there as far as in his head on that one. Came out really good.
I never like having to play those sort of shots when you're trying to play for straight in last ball. It's so much, so easy to go too far and you leave yourself more angle. I mean, he's going to have no issues getting shape on it, but it's just never comfortable playing it that way around. Always like to play with angles and leave yourself more naturals. I mean, he's not going to miss this. He really shouldn't miss this, but you just never know. It just adds to tariff. He'd rather not have to, but he does knock it in. Okay, it's a good break. It's a very good break. And it's a good layout. How would you like the stripes here? You'd have to cue in a really good first ball.
Yeah, you could make an argument for either side, but I think the stripes is definitely the easier path.
Depends on the combination at the top. If the combination on solids is really easy and you're not putting it too safe, then you could go solids. But stripes is just about making the first shot. If you make the first shot, you've won the rack. Yeah, nicely done. Could have done with pulling it back just an extra 2 turns, so he's sort of still going to have to play that good shot to get in shape.
Yeah. And this seems to be where the multitude of Tom's mistakes have been coming. He gets just a little out of line, and then just a little more,
yeah,
and then trying to recover, makes a mistake. And it's little things like this. It's not the worst because this ball goes, but now it changes how the 14 is going to move and where the 14 is going to be positioned. So
he's in a world of trouble. First shot coming up, 2 rolls short, and he had to take away control from that shot, and that's why he's ended up here. He is in a world of hurt in this rack. And the bank doesn't land, so no recovery. And right now, Chris Mitchell has an opportunity to go 4-1 and have the break in the next. Massive moments, really. Third error for Tom in the match.
what a mistake here by Chris Mitchell, and he knows it, kind of having a giggle about it. He's definitely not happy. That's very unfortunate. Kind of put himself into that position, though, and it's going to cost him the rack.
There'll be a serious amount of relief here for Tom Cousins. It really will be. I mean, he's still in trouble. He's still going to be 3-2, and it will be Chris's break. But he's been handed one here. Really has been handed a lifeline.
Trailing Amber Huppert 3-4, and a tie ball game between Becky Stone, who we saw in our mixed pairs event, tied with Brandy James. We're getting down to that time, Simon. We're about to get into the area where we do have quarterfinals all the way around, and that's when it gets very, very fun. A lot at stake this weekend, a lot of money and a lot of titles, a lot of pride. Ultimate Pool USA's 4th event of the year and our last of this
Final
one.
event of the year, yeah.
How nice would it be to end your year with a title win as well as a chunk of cash to go along with it?
Yeah, that always works.
Makes Christmas a little easier, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot of players that come to these events that, it's a hobby, it's fun, it's enjoyable. They're here for the format, they're here for the fun, but it's always nice to walk away with a little bit of money as well. Obviously, we have a few players, Tom, that's out there in the arena now. Proper professional pool players that this is part of the living they're here to make. And if Tom was to lose in this match, for example, even though he's already taken down the shootout and the final of the mix, it becomes a disappointing weekend because he's not cashing very much.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Tom Cousins doesn't get a paycheck every week like some of the rest of us, so he depends on these tournaments as well as several others. Shane Thompson and maybe even Chris Mitchell. I don't know what he does. He could have a day job, but he has the ability to make quite a bit of money in pool, and a loss here might be a little rough on the pocketbook going into the holiday season. He's making quick work of this one. Very short memory. A very short memory for Chris Mitchell. And quick work here, Chris Mitchell. Trying to regain that 2-game lead, and he's done it. 4-2. He's got a ball. He's got a couple balls.
Interesting layout here.
It's a little messy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very messy. I think he has to go stripes. The problem under his hand right now, stripes are the easier ones. The sort of work is there, but it's not too bad. Maybe just a 9.
My first thought was the 9 and the 13, and it hurts that they're both across from each other almost directly.
I don't think the 13's a problem for him because he can get underneath it easily enough. That's a problem, though.
Yeah, now that's a new problem. I'm wondering if he can get just a little bit of throw on that 12 ball to carry the 15 into the hole. But because the pockets are playing tighter this morning, it's a risky shot. Because he can see right through there right now. Just don't know if it goes. It does. Great shot there by Tom Cousins. And this is a big turning point for him. It was important that he got this rack. And he's going to, I believe. Oof. Pocket speed is what we'd call that one.
Yeah, under control.
Tom really, with what he had to work with on this rack, he's really coming good here. And he's going to make it 4-3.
mixer ball, and it's a messy-ish layout. Chris gestures he's not thrilled here. He wants to be solids, and he doesn't have a good starter. I think he's just going to have to back himself here to make the 7 in the side. If he makes the 7 in the side, this is fairly routine run out. I don't know if he needs to just come forward and just follow here and leave the combination. I don't think you need to hold for the 2, which he has. I mean, it shouldn't matter. I just thought if he follows through there and gets fairly straight in on the combination.
I actually think he's made this a lot harder.
I agree.
It.
That works though. That's fine.
It could have been really, really bad though. Chris being very careful, leaning over the balls. Doesn't want to take a time foul. I'm sorry, a all-ball foul. I'm losing. I need my coffee, Simon.
Yeah. I'm really surprised with how he's gone about this route. Unless the 8 ball comes down the table, which I don't believe it does. I just always had the 4 ball as his last ball to get underneath the 8, where there's loads of room, but he's taken that off the table early. And he's hooked himself. This has been the strangest visit to the table in the whole match here for Chris Mitchell. I feel like he's looked for problems that haven't been there right from the very first shot.
And this is quite possibly his very first big mistake rack. Very interesting. And he hits the ball good, but he is going to leave the visit for Tom Cousins. This is a huge turn of events in this match. We could see 4 all with right around 12 minutes left on the clock.
Couple of balls away from the full turnaround and making us all square. Exactly what Tom Cousins was looking for. Could have been 5-1 at one point, or it could have. It felt like it could have been 5-1. We never quite got to 4-1, did we? But we should have done.
Which he has.
Another interesting layout, though. How do you fancy, if we're playing an exhibition here, do you play it now in this stage at this moment? But how do you fancy some going clever on the solids here? I like playing off the 6 and then bumping into a 3-ball combination.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the 1, the 2, the 7, and then I'm going to play the 4-ball combination and send the 6-ball towards the top left corner.
Yeah. Get the set first before you play the big shot.
Yeah. And it really doesn't matter how he plays this. I think that's what he's going to do, actually. It really lays good to the angle the 6-ball is going to contact the 14. It would send it towards the pocket on the other side. It would open it up. I think there's a chance that we see this. And there's ways you could play it too. You can always play the carom rather than the combo. Tom's going to do no such thing.
Yeah, Doesn't need to. The reason I liked it was all about the 6 ball. But if he can come on and off here and bump the 14, which he might be able to do, then it solves that problem. There we go.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, we're good.
Overly happy with that.
And once again, we're in a position where what looked like a blowout almost, or at least a very comfortable lead, just heard it. We're now at the 15-second shot clock, and Tom Cousins is looking to squeak into the lead for the first time. Well, really good run from Tom Cousins here. He's going to take the lead, and you got to feel a little rough for Chris, but in the end, he's brought that on himself.
Amazing how it swung around, and amazing how this momentum and pressure has swung around. But one thing that hasn't changed is the quality of Chris Mitchell's break, which has been on point throughout. And he should get out here. Can he not?
The solids look really good.
Yeah, the solids do look good. I thought he could clip the 5 in, but it may not be on, which means actually the first shot's a little bit pressure filled. Yeah, there was a little bit of pressure on that one.
And he was really quick on his release there. He's had a very, very smooth shot all the way through this match. That one was very quick, and the timing was just not quite on par with the level that we've seen him play. A little pressure. Uh-oh.
That's okay. That works. That works. He'll be okay with that. There's still a combination on where he can bump into the 9 at the same time, and then everything's just wide open.
And I agree with you, but Tom hasn't quite been playing at his A game. And we've seen the few mistakes he's made that allowed Chris to go up so early have been from situations like this. Just needs to get this one right.
I think he's okay. I just think he's got too much margin on every shot from here. That was probably the only shot that could go wrong, just in case the 6 landed funny, but it hasn't. And now it's, I mean, Tom Cousins is going to clear up from this situation. Well, I'll be shocked if it wasn't 999 times out of 1,000.
And he'll be on the break for the Hill game for himself.
Yeah.
So out here, and what a match this has been. Really up and down.
Only thing here is just making sure you don't let the stripes come into play on the next shot, but he should have margin.
And we saw a little bit of the same thing with Justin Bergman in his opening match this morning. Started off a little shaky against Peyton McBride, and near the end there, his level of play was just absolutely above the ceiling. To the hill he goes, Tom Cousins. Our good buddy Neil, some headaches last time around.
Yeah.
She made 2 finals.
He's in the quarterfinals of the juniors, but that's not scheduled for a little while. So, yes, that's not scheduled for it. Yeah, if he wins that match, then he has a problem, or the tournament director has a problem.
He won't have a problem.
Yeah,
he'll be happy. He'll be ecstatic.
Tom does make a ball, so chance to run it out. And get the win on the board, move on to the quarterfinals once again.
And we know the level of play that Tom has can be very high, and in the beginning of this match it was not that, but he's really turned it around.
Well, that has not worked.
I think he can get out of this.
He can.
It's just going to take some work, and you can't make a mistake here. You can't let Chris back at the table.
10 ball's his friend at the top of the table. I think he can play the 10, use the 3 to open up the other stripe at the top there. No.
Oh, no. And he's left a shot on for Chris here. Almost similar to the last one that he had, a little easier. But he's going to have the short memory. It is. Well, worst case scenario for Tom Cousins. So it looks like Chris is going to be able to get back in this.
Yeah, the time left as well is an awkward one from a Tom Cousins perspective, because there is enough time for Chris to run this and plenty of time for him to have the opportunity to break and run the next. But there may not be enough time for Tom to play out a full heel-heel match, a heel-heel frame. So he may be sat in his chair and may not touch the table again until we get to a 6 ball.
Yeah, the breakdown here with 2 balls left. Going to assume that we're going to be around the 3 minutes and 40-second mark, roughly. A 2-minute run out from Chris is going to put us right around a minute 40 left to break and run.
Needs a ball, though. Needs a ball. He's not going to get one.
Oh, no.
No ball.
And Chris knows the situation he was in. Brutal. And just takes a glance over here, and we walked eyes for just a second. He kind of laughed about it, and he knows how important that break was.
In play.
Tom's got to get these. If he doesn't, he will leave enough time to be counted. So one of those situations where, from a Tom Cousins perspective, for this visit, you just don't have to worry about whether you run the clock down or not. You just have to focus on getting the run out. But the good news for Tom Cousins and anyone supporting him is he's in absolutely prime position to run these out. There's not too much that can go wrong.
And I feel like Tom here is kind of keeping an eye on the clock, because he knows as he's running this out, if he were to make a mistake, he feels like there would not be enough time for anything extra to happen other than Chris running out. So we really have only 2 options here. And I think I'm going with option 1. Tom Cousins is going to run this out for the win. Oh, a little double kiss there. Chris knows what's going on here. He understands the situation that he's in.
Oh, no. Oh, can you believe it? And head in his hands, he knows that's a massive moment for him.
Does he have it?
That could put him into a 6 ball here.
He's going to cross this 8 ball.
He's got to use every single second. He might give this one a ride. Give it a ride, get the balls rolling, and what's he going to leave?
Chris,
He's going to leave
a minute.
59 seconds. That is a huge, huge error from Tom Cousins. Chris Mitchell right now has a chance for a buzzer beater to take us to a 6-ball. Hold your nerve time, 47 seconds left.
Well, and I'll tell you what, he's not rushing, which makes me feel like he's comfortable with the amount of time that's left on the clock.
It is a comfortable amount of time, but he's taking a few more seconds on those couple of shots than I would have thought. We have seen players in this situation lose the match clock. He's only got 25 seconds left. I don't think he knows I don't think he's got the match clock here. I think he's going to run out of time. He's going to run out of time. This is going to really hurt him.
It's absolutely going to be a
It's going to be 15 seconds to go, and he took too long on the first 2 or 3 shots here. Yeah, I mean, he's going for a wonder. He's got less than 10 seconds left. Tom Cousins is looking at him wondering what's going on, and I think Chris has just realised.
That's so unfortunate.
He lost the match clock. We have seen that before.
He just didn't know.
And we've seen it so many times. When players are in that situation, you can get lost and you can lose the match clock. There's a big screen, everyone can see it, but when you're out there, you're in the moment, and you have to say, Tom Cousins, he's a lucky boy.